So now I'm going to show you this partial fractions on that on this fraction in the blue box here, the 1 over s squared times s squared minus 1. And I'll do this on a separate page. It's just a bunch of algebra, but maybe it's been a little while since we've had to do it. So our fraction is 1 over s squared times s squared minus 1. Now I've got an s squared. So when you have a factor that's squared, you're gonna have two fractions in your decomposition for that. So I'm gonna have a over s plus b over s squared. And then this second one, for this factor s squared minus 1, that's a quadratic. And I'm going to put a generic linear on top, so cs plus d. When we multiply through by the LCD, clearing denominators, we get 1 equals a times s squared minus 1 plus b times s squared minus 1 plus cs plus d times s squared. Now there's some low-hanging fruit, and that is that if s is 0, then let's see, the left-hand side always 1. The right-hand side, if s is 0, the a term, like the first term with the a, drops out entirely, and the last term drops out entirely because those both have factors of s. And then the middle term is b times negative 1, so b is equal to negative 1. So we know that one. Now I'm going to use that known value of b. b is equal to negative 1. I'm going to put that back into this equation right here, and then kind of expand and see what I get. So I've got, I'm going to in fact also distribute. So I've got the as, I'm going to distribute that through, and then back here at the end I'm going to distribute the s squared through. So I've got as cubed minus as. I'm distributing the b, which is a negative 1, so minus s squared plus 1, and then plus, if I distribute that s squared, I have cs cubed plus ds squared. And now I'm going to compare coefficients. So I'm going to gather my like terms. So I've got an a plus c s cubed, that takes care of those two. And then I have a d minus 1 s squared, that takes care of those two. And then minus a times s plus 1. So I'm comparing the coefficients here. And on the left side I have a 0 s squared plus, or sorry, a 0 s cubed plus 0 s squared plus 0 s. So, and then plus 1. So all of these coefficients on the s cubed, s squared, and s have to be 0. So immediately I can tell, well, a has to be 0. And if a has to be 0 and a plus c has to be 0, that means that c has to be 0. And if d minus 1 has to be 0, then d has to equal 1. And so that gives us, going up here, we already said that b was negative 1, so we have a is 0, b is negative 1, c is 0, and d is 1. And that gives us negative 1 over s squared plus 1 over s squared minus 1. And there's the partial fraction decomposition that we found.